Hello everyone, Kris Reynolds at Reynolds Custom Woodworks here in Winslow, Maine. I'd like to thank all of you for watching our previous videos, Custom Kitchen Cabinets Parts 1 through 7, where we took a typical cherry kitchen from step 1 of milling down rough material to installation in the home. We're going to put together a new video series and where we're going to basically nail down each individual process and take you maybe 5 or 6 minutes through the entire thing so you can all start building your own kitchen cabinets at home. Today we're going to do a shop tour, basically taking the material from the loading door basically, and basically showing you each and every tool, which later on will break down into their individual processes and showing you the final product. Over here in the southeast corner of the shop, we've got a 3,200 square foot cabinet shop. It's basically the door which all the material comes into. Right now in front of the door we've got a couple of carts that have product on it. We like carts here in the shop instead of having to pick everything up and move it around. Place everything in a cart, it's easy to wheel out of the way. This is where most of the material comes in. Both plywood and all of our rough lumber comes in through this door, but we also send product out this. The first stop for most of the material is the lumber rack. It's a shop-made rack. We've used 2-inch channel iron to construct this rack. We have different sections, obviously. Each one holds a different type of material. We like to keep it organized as much as possible. And any given month, this thing empties up and it fills up as material comes and goes. This is our panel rack. It holds all of the plywood sheet goods that we use. It also will hold glued up panels that we will have going for any particular project. The first step for the rough material, rough lumber, is the planer. We've got a couple of different carts set up on either side of the planer. We start on one side, material goes through the planer, and we set it on the other side. We go back and forth till we get down to our finished thickness, whatever that may be. It's a 20-inch wide planer, and we've got a spiral head in there to help minimize the chipping of the material, and it also runs a lot quieter. It's great. And behind me is the dust collector, 5 horsepower motor. It draws from all the tools in the shop. We use 6-inch spiral ductwork everywhere per request online. And of course it runs on the remote control, which you guys all like. Once the material comes off from the planer and we have it on a cart, we'll wheel the cart over here. The next step is the joiner. We put a nice straight edge on all of our rough material before it makes its way to the table saws. It's an 8-inch wide joiner. I think it's a 2 horsepower rig. Also, we put a spiral cutter head in this guy. It just makes a better cut. We also use the joiner for edging doors before we fit them in their face frames. We also use it to edge face frames where 2 face frames come together. It's a pretty versatile tool. We use it for 7 or 8 steps during the process of building the kitchen. Once material has a straight edge on it off the joiner, its next step is to come over here to the table saw setup. I've got a bench and table saw set up approximately the same height so material can come off the bench through the table saw. Here we've got a double table saw setup, both utilizing the same outfeed table. That way 2 of us can be working in here at the same time and not getting each other's way. Once material goes through the table saw, there's typically some fall off the edge of the board. I've got a bin over here that everything can go in. I also have a small barrel here for short pieces to go in. On the other side over here is typically where most of the datoing is done in the shop, both for carcasses, for bottoms of drawers, and it also serves as another ripping saw if we need to do that as well. Both of them hooked up to dust collection. We also have a router built into this side of the table saw setup over here for running moldings, rounding over doors and whatnot. One of the new additions to the shop is a sliding table saw that we use for plywood. Material goes on here on this carriage. I'm able to slide it through the saw, puts a perfect right angle on all of our sheet goods. I can then flip it, cut them all to size using the fence. Very versatile tool. Typically the next stop for material is over here at the chop saw. We also have a radial arm saw set up on this fence system that we have here for ease of cutting. This particular chop saw here has a laser on it for ease of cut. And as far as setting a stop for repeated cuts, I use a block of wood and a squeeze clamp. I used to have a turn system over here, but this is just as easy. Slap it on there. This guy is very strong, not going to go anywhere. Basically just hook my tape over the stock, turn the laser on, put it where it needs to be, and cut all I need to do. We've got dust collection for both tools right here. Going down along the table, it's basically it's a laminate countertop that I picked up at the local hardware store for my material. Down here we've got storage for dovetail equipment. Also, as part of the vent system is my pocket hole machine for cutting pocket holes, for putting face frames together, attaching face frames to cabinet sides. I use this tool all the time. Right behind the pocket hole machine is the face frame table. Basically just a right angle for putting face frame materials together. I've got a bunch of clamps for clamping everything together. We use a square drive drill. We got all the screws we need right at hand, along with some other materials in this cabinet. Once solid wood is cut to width on the table saw and basically kind of chopped up at the chop saw, it comes over here to the shapers. This is a new piece of equipment I got last year, 7.5 horsepower tilting shaper. It's a gigantic workforce here in the shop. All my doors get made here now instead of on the table saw like I used to do it. Basically it's got an 1.25 inch spindle. It weighs almost a ton, literally. I run both of my door profiles on here as well as the panel for raising doors. It has a 1 horsepower stock feed on here, so you just put the material in one end, grab it on the other end. It's great. And then over here I got another shaper set up for running the coat cut on the end of my doors. I've got a sled on here. It's got the opposite bit which runs in this machine, and basically put everything here on the slider. Through it goes. Put the doors together. Off to the next step. Over by the shapers is one of the most important tools in the shop. It's also one of the newer ones. I've had it for a couple of years now, and that's the 37-inch wide belt sander. Everything we make goes through this machine. It replaced the I had a 24-inch double drum sander that we used before. This is a far superior machine, 3-phase, 15 horsepower, very, very heavy. Everything that we make goes through here, from drawer material to assembled face frames. I can put face frames together through the wide belt. They come out the other side, almost ready for finish. We just have to do a little bit of scuff sanding to take care of some real fine scratches that are in there. Very important machine. Takes 37-inch wide paper. You can see how big these sheets are. We use a couple of different grits on here, finishing off to 150.